So, Maurice, you were describing what it's like for firemen to come onto the scene of a fire, and what is it like?
Okay. Well, your heart is racing because you're putting on your gear as fast as possible. You're going on the fire run, so we're kind of excited. We run into the rig. We want to put our stuff on the rig, put our fire gear on as fast as possible. We go on a run, and we get a call. We don't know if people are trapped, but if they say people are trapped, that emotion in you kicks up even higher, especially if you have saved some people or have seen people jump out of a building. So your heart is racing, even it's pounding in your chest. After you get there, you run in there, kick the door open, get the locks open, and do a search. And when you do a search, you try to find, you're trying to find somebody. It's dark, pitch black, acrid smoke. When we look around and seeing if somebody's there, we're praying that nobody's in there. But if they are, it's heart-wrenching on us. We feel emotional, we're saddened by it, but we try not to let our feelings really show, because that can affect the rest of the family members or the rest of the community if we come out like, but we try to keep that spirit about us. That's what we try to do.
But it does wear on you.
After a while, but then you form a callus. 15 years running on the busiest squad in the city, and I've pulled out about 50, 60 dead bodies, and not saying the people that I've saved. So I've had more dead than alive, and that wears the shell right there on your heart. So we'll try to do its best. We try to do the best we can every time we go to a fire. Every time we get that call, every time the alert goes off, we're doing as fast and as expedient as possible to save your lives and property.
You were describing before some of the conditions that you see, the kind of conditions that people are forced to live under, including the lack of electricity and heat.
Yes, sir.
What have you seen?
Well, people have hooked up their electrical cords up to another house. They have, space heaters or kerosene heaters that have caught on fire. I had a little girl 3 years ago. They had a kerosene heater, and she was laying on the beds right next to the kerosene heater, and it burnt her up so bad. That affected me so bad, because I have a little girl, and she was 3 years old, and she died of smoke inhalation. It hurt me to my heart, but we tried to get her out as best as possible. But we, you want to cry, but you try not to. So.
How have you guys been affected yourselves by cutbacks in money and funding to the fire department?
Wear and tear. Our bodies are worn out. By one fire a day, one fire is like working an 8-hour shift at a regular factory. So we're getting like 3 or 4 fires a day, and that has a toll on the heat, the smoke, climbing through windows, walls, knocking. We're using all our might and all our energy. The gear is about 100 pounds. We're wet. We're crawling through smoke and other dangerous conditions, house collapse, other things, holes in the floor, other deplorable conditions, just trying to put even a vacant fire out. So those ones that we don't know that they look vacant, but there might be some people inside there because they don't have any electricity or heat, because we can't see it. They don't have any lights on, or they're using a space heater or kerosene heater. And it's...
Well, you guys responded to the Dexter Avenue fire on January 5th. Was this company?
Yes, this was this company. I wasn't working that day, but those firefighters, the Ivy and the lieutenant, they did. They responded, and I can't even explain their emotions right now.
You were saying that as long as firefighters have a decent wage and certain security, you can raise your family and take care of the bills. But if you were to lose your job, you said you could see yourself in the same kind of circumstances people out here are?
Yeah, how am I going to pay my lights or my gas if there's $300, $400, or $500 a month just to heat a home? And I'm like, how do an ordinary person making $20,000, $30,000 pay that bill? I mean, that's going to be difficult. It's difficult for me. How is it difficult for somebody who makes a lot less, or not have a steady job they go to work every single day? So I can understand how they could do with their desperate measures, what they can, hey, I got to make do. I got to feed my children, and I care about my kids. I'll do anything for them, die for my kids. So I feel everybody else will do the same thing too. They'll make it work. So is a life worth more than a shut-off notice? That's what we're wondering. I don't think it is. $181? A life? All the money that was spent fighting the fire, thousands of dollars. I don't think it was worth it.
And putting your lives on the line at the same time.
Yes. All these bruises and cuts and burns, they're not on my arms my hand was perfectly sound at first. I broke every finger on each hand fighting fires. My life is put on the line every time I put it on a fire. So, yeah, all them surgeries. I've had 8 surgeries since I've been on this job, from falling through floors, getting burnt, getting electrocuted. I was in the hospital because of the electricity, legal hookups. Yeah, that caused a heart complication, and I was in the hospital for a heart attack. Just because somebody turned on some illegal electricity. That put my life at risk. So.
But if they weren't cut off by DTE, they wouldn't be taking desperate measures like that.
Yep. And that causes us to be in danger, and us as firefighters to be at risk.
That's a very, very good point. That's a very, very good point. So tell us about the story of a firefighter from Mack Avenue.
Well, this was his first fire, Jackie Rage Jones. This is his first fire. He was not familiar of, search and rescue as much. So when he went in to get the kids, they were all in one room. The 4 children were huddled around him. He was trying to get them out, but he was lost himself. You get disorientated when you're in a fire, so he was trapped in the house with those 4 children. The 4 kids died on him. He had air to breathe because he was on his SCBA, but those children eventually died on him. And when those kids died on him, it put a scar, and he emotionally went crazy, and he eventually can end up committing suicide. So.
And this was the fire in 1993 on Mack Avenue where 7 children died.
Yeah, 7 children died. He was with the 4. I don't know where the other 3 children were located, but he located those 4. But I don't know where the other 3 children were located around the house. So.
And that was also the case in which the city cut off water to the family with 7 children in February in the winter, and they also had no utilities at the time.
Yes, and the man, I heard that he heated up the pipes because he thought the pipes were froze, and that's what caused the fire. Now then, it's been all the way up to the top. So it was a very tragic fire for that's hard on any firefighter, but just to be your first fire, oh my God. I'm glad I got broke in first, but your first fire, it's hard.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So I understand that you knew Jackie Rage Jones. Could you tell us about him and the impact that this fire had on him back in '93?
Well, I actually met him getting my first tattoos because he's a great artist. I had heard about him from a lot of people, and I wanted my first tattoos to be done by the best. So when I went to him, he had such a beautiful and gentle spirit, and he was telling me about he wanted to be a fireman as he was doing my tattoos, and he was really excited about it, and he was telling me how much he loved to help people, and it was just a dream of his. And even though his business was doing really well, his heart was truly helping people. So I wasn't aware of what happened to him. And when I met my boyfriend, Maurice Funchess, I was telling him about my tattoo, and he told me the story of him. And it hurt my heart because I didn't know that he had committed suicide. I could never imagine he would do something like that because he just seemed so happy and so much joy. And I guess I could see a man having such a gentle heart taking something like that really hard. So it was very hurtful.